My God, I look so bad. Um, what the fuck? Okay. So honestly, I haven't made a video in like forever where I actually show my face. But today, as you can clearly see, we're doing a Marvel Cinematic Universe tier list. And since I'm broke, I have to use Screencast-O-Matic, and I got 15 minutes. So I guess we should get going. Okay, so to start, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, the thing about Ant-Man and the Wasp is I know a lot of people who don't like it, but personally, I think it's a pretty good movie and a pretty good sequel to Ant-Man. And I used to think Ant-Man was better than Ant-Man and the Wasp, but now that I've rewatched Ant-Man and the Wasp, I've grown to like it more and more as time went on. And I do think that it is better than the first one, so I'm gonna put it at great. It's a great movie, guys. It's severely underrated. If you haven't seen it in a while, I'd recommend to go watch it again because it's really good. Okay, next we have Ant-Man. I saw this movie in theaters when I was like 9, and I thought it was the shit. I thought it was amazing. But now that I rewatch it, I think it's a little slow, but then it really starts picking up towards the end. Like the heist is my favorite part of the whole movie. Paul Rudd is amazing. And I think that's it. Like there's nothing that really like it's like the first Iron Man. That's what Ant-Man is. It's just the first Iron Man but with Ant-Man. So I'm gonna put it at meh because it is a meh movie. Next we have Avengers Age of Ultron. Very unpopular opinion, but I prefer Age of Ultron over the first Avengers because I'll get into that when I talk about the first Avengers, but Age of Ultron is like really underrated. I think Ultron is a great villain. Like you see why he wants to do the things he does, and even though he cracks jokes all the time, I think he works pretty well. I mean, I get that they introduce a lot. They introduce a lot more people, and I really hate that they killed off Quicksilver in one movie. They introduced Wanda, Scarlet Witch. I don't like Wanda that much. They introduced Vision. They introduced Quicksilver. That's all I can think of right now. And that's when yeah, no, okay, I'm getting off track. So, Age of Ultron, I think the plot is whack, and but I really like the action scenes. I think the pacing is somewhat good. But my favorite scene in like the whole movie is when the Avengers are at the Avengers Tower and just partying. I'm gonna put it at great because I think it's a great movie. Next is Avengers Infinity War, greatest of all time. I think this Avengers Infinity War is better than Endgame in like every way besides maybe action and fan service. Infinity War has better pacing, better characters. I think it handles the characters a lot better for having so many characters in there. And Thanos is just a much more menacing villain in Infinity War than he is in Game. I rewatched Endgame a few days ago, and like when Thanos comes to Earth to like and destroys everyone, like it's just like we've already had Thanos as a villain, and we've seen him like grow like he's really immature in that one. Like I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but I just think Avengers Infinity War is top tier or greatest of all time because Spider-Man's in it and I love Tom Holland Spider-Man. So yeah, and the entire time I was watching Infinity War, I was on the edge of my seats and I did not expect that ending at all. Okay, next we have Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is kind of a hit or miss with me because I was really excited for it. I was really excited for Brie Larson. I saw it, I thought it was great, like I do with every movie, and then I rewatched it, and it's really meh. Like, there's good moments, and then there's Brie Larson, if you get what I'm saying. Brie Larson can act. I know she can act. I've seen her in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I know she can act, but they just gave her like it's like she. Oh my God, just like the blank acting from Carol Danvers just really bothers me. I don't have to prove anything to you. Like, or is that Wanda? I don't know, one or the other. But like, it could have been great. But I think they also introduced her way too late. Like, why would you introduce her right before Endgame? And she didn't even have a major role in Endgame either. So I'm just gonna put it at meh. Next is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This I literally can't decide if Winter Soldier or Civil War is my favorite Captain America movie because they're both so good. But Captain America: The Winter Soldier is definitely one of my favorite MCU movies. The plot, the performances, the spy type thriller shit, that is the best thing ever. And the action, the elevator fight scene, the Bucky versus Cap and Falcon and Widow fight scene, that the highway heist scene. My favorite scene in that movie is when Bucky and Steve are fighting on the shield carrier, and he's like beating him and beating him. He's like, "You're my mission." He's like, "Well, finish it, because I'm with you till the end of the line." And then he's like, and then like Steve falls, and the music's like dun dun like that. Like I don't know why that makes me so sad. I'm put it at greatest of all time. Captain America: The First Avenger. I just rewatched this one like 2 nights ago with my brother. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like Captain America. He's like a goody two shoes, like Superman, and I freaking hate Superman. But Captain America: The First Avenger is a really good solo outing, and like coming, like in case you a solo like a or origin film. I think it's really good at what it does of telling the story of of Captain America. But I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's like meh. Cause like it's like hit or miss like Captain Marvel. Like they have good moments and then they have really boring moments. But I do think that Peggy is, I wish they would have had her in like more stuff because I love Peggy. And Agent Carter is just amazing. Anyways, next is Civil War. I'm gonna put Civil War at amazing because I think at the time when I saw this, I was six, or not six, 10, and I was so hyped. I was like, let's go. Like, I was Team Iron Man, and I was only Team Iron Man because of Spider Man. Because Iron Man has the coolest heroes, but I do think I would really side with Captain America on the government being in control of what I do. But it was like the airport battle is one of my favorite MCU battles. It has one of my favorite MCU moments. Civil War does when Tony finds out that Bucky killed his parents, and he's like, did you know?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, Tony, I had to something." And they just all fight, and like they do the comics the comic book shot. You guys know what I'm talking about if you're the comics. It's just one of my favorite scenes. It's a really good movie. Okay, next is Doctor Strange. Amazing. Doctor Strange is severely overrated. The action, the CGI, I freaking love Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has been one of my favorites ever since I've seen it. It is so good, and like the CGI is just so good. The story is a meh, but like Caecilius is horrible. I really don't like him. He's not menacing, and I really like how they didn't have this big CGI battle and smart. Strange just used his smartness to win, to save the universe, like with their mom, who just get the um time stone and do what he did. I think that's really cool. Avengers In Game is going to amazing because it is not as good as Infinity War, and you can hate me for this, but In Game is freaking 3 hours, and you can fill those 3 hours if you know what I'm talking about. Infinity War is 2 hours and 48 minutes, and that thing feels like at least an hour. In game, it starts off really, really good. The pacing is really good, and then once you get to the middle where they have to do the time heist, it gets a little slow, especially after you rewatch it a bunch like I have. But then the rest after Black Widow dies is my favorite, or before Black Widow dies. After that, right? Yeah, before Black Widow dies. After she dies, it's just an amazing movie. Tony Stark's death still makes me really sad, but it's an amazing movie. I give it like a 9 out of 10. Guardians of the Galaxy is greatest of all time. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. This was the first Marvel movie I saw in theaters since Avengers, like the first Avengers, and it was so good. Like I fell in love with all these characters. Like my favorite Marvel hero besides Spider-Man is still Star-Lord. Like the soundtrack is so good, and like the writing and it's just so funny. And I have to hurry this up. I'm at 8 minutes. Okay, next, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We're putting it at great because I love this movie, but it's not as good as the second. Actually, yeah, it's not as good as the first one. I really do like Gamora and Quill more in this movie. I really don't like Rocket in this movie. I think he's kind of an asshole, and I know that was for character development, but nah. Yeah, I'm just gonna speed this. Okay, Spider-Man Far From Home is greatest of all time. Spider-Man Far From Home is literally my favorite Spider-Man movie. Well, was my favorite Spider-Man movie until I saw Into the Spider-Verse. No, sorry, Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite Spider-Man movie, but Far From Home was like close second until No Way Home. I think it's like I really like Mysterio, and I really love the cliffhanger in the post-credit scene, and I really love his new suit. I love MJ and Peter, or Zendaya and Tom Holland. Next in the Incredible Hulk is the Incredible Hulk. Do I even have to explain myself, like, honestly? Next is Iron Man 2. I freaking hate Iron Man 2. The only reason I will even give it 1 point is because of Black Widow, and I think she carries the entire movie. Unpopular opinion? Iron Man 3 is great. I really like the Christmas stuff, and it's set around Christmas. I think it's a really cool idea to see Tony Stark without his suit. he's not just a suit. Take off the armor and he's like a smart mother effer. So yeah, I think it's really good. First Iron Man, unpopular opinion, I think it's meh. Like it's really good for the first MCU movie, but it doesn't hold up like it doesn't hold up as time goes on. For me personally, at least. Black Panther is great. I think it's a tad overrated, but I really like the story. The CGI can be a bit wonky sometimes, but I really like the casting and Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, one of the best castings that MCU's ever done. Next, Spider-Man: Homecoming. I'm gonna put it at great because as much as I love Tom Holland Spider-Man, this movie is like it's good, but it's not good. It's a little slow, and I do like the Iron Man and Spider-Man stuff, but like Vulture's the best character in that movie. Like he's one of the best MCU villains. It's great, but it's not. It's kind of boring at some points, if you get what I'm saying. But the plot twist was amazing. Next is Thor. I'm putting it at meh because it's okay. Like it's a fish out of water. You get the gist of that. So it's meh. I mean, I like it, but I don't. I only like it for Loki, honestly, and that's the same with Bad Thor: The Bad World. Haha. I think it's mid, or I think it's bad, but Loki saves it. Thor Ragnarok is great. It's a little bit overrated. I think the comedy overshadows the dramatic bits sometimes, and that really just annoyed me. But I do think it has some of the coolest scenes in the MCU and some of the funniest moments. And Hela is badass. I don't care. Valkyrie is one of my favorite characters, and so is Loki. So I just really liked it. Avengers, I'm putting it at great because I think that Avengers is really, really boring until about halfway through when they assemble, and then it's just great. I'm just gonna be completely honest. WandaVision is meh. WandaVision's mid. It's not that good. It made me like Wanda, but it also made me dislike Wanda. Have you ever met Wanda Maximoff fans? They're so freaking annoying. WandaVision is not the best MCU show. Never has been, never will be. Okay, okay. Okay, next is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think it's an amazing show. It's one like the first three episodes are great, but then the last three are amazing. When John Walker kills that dude, when Sam gets his new suit, it was my favorite out of the three that came out like in early 2021. It was my favorite. I really liked it. It made me like Falcon, and I don't like Falcon. Sorry about that. Next is Loki. Look, I'm putting it at meh. Okay, it was really freaking good. The first four episodes, especially when he gets whatever they call this. I forgot. I don't want to rewatch it. But then like I gasped when Loki got pruned. There we go, pruned. Like that was a huge moment, and then they ruined it with the last two episodes. I hate Sylvie. I loved her, but I hate her now. Why did Loki kiss himself? Like they didn't need to kiss. They said he's bi. They made it a big deal that he's bi, and then they just make him fall in love with himself. Like it's just annoying. Next is Shang-Chi and Legend of Ten Rings. Amazing movie. One of the best Phase 4 movies. Some of the best action in the MCU, if not the best action in the MCU. I think Simu Lee, I don't know how to pronounce his name, is really good as Shang-Chi. I liked Aquafina as Katie. It was really funny. It was a really fun movie. I really like it. Next is Black Widow. I'm gonna put it at great because the only thing that really makes me want to rewatch this movie is Elena, aka Florence Pugh, aka Elena, because she is just top tier in this movie. Like it's one of Florence Pugh's best performances. I love Florence Pugh, and Elena was just one of my favorite characters. What if I'm gonna put it at meh because like it was kind of boring, but it wasn't like some stories were good and then some stories were boring, and then you just had that grand season finale, and I was like, wow, like the only episode that I really like is Supreme Strange. So yeah. Next is Hawkeye. Amazing. I think it might be higher than Falcon and the Winter Soldier in some points. I really freaking love Kate Bishop. She's the cutest. I love Haley Steinfeld. I've loved her since Pitch Perfect 2. I love that Yelena's back. I really hated what they did with Kingpin, but it's okay. I think Alqua Cox or whatever was really good at Maya. Okay, I got a few. Okay, Eternals, unpopular opinion, really good movie. Actually, I'm not gonna put it go. Really good movie. It is like top tier. I love every Eternal. No Eternal was bad. I really like the story. I really like the passings. I really like the action, and it's good for what it was. It was a different style of MCU movie, and I really like that. Spider-Man: No Way Home is in greatest of all time. I'll even put it before Infinity War. It is the best Spider-Man movie, the best, my favorite MCU movie. Something finally beat Guardians of the Galaxy. Like nothing could beat Guardians of the Galaxy until this movie. I won't spoil it, but it is so good. I feel like it does drag a bit in the apartment scene, but then it gets crazy. It is like in the theaters, I was clapping, cheering, crying. I cried so hard. It, I just love Tom Holland Spider-Man so much, and this movie made me love him even more. Anyways, that's it for today. Maybe I'll do a DC one too, but I only have 54 seconds. So like and subscribe maybe, and I'll see you guys later.